We all been there and we all did that. At the beginning of our candle making journey, we were thinking, candle making, that got to be easy. So we took some container, we took some wick, we throw that in there. We took some wax, some fragrance oil, we blend them together and just pour everything in. And then, as soon as this wax solidified, we lit our candle. And then the disappointment come. My name is Darek. Welcome to my candle making channel. In today's video, how to make a better smelling candle. Coming up. So the bad news is there is no quick fix or trick and tips that gonna magically make our candles smells better. Probably we did something wrong because the candle is just combustion system and there is something wrong with our combustion system, but not necessarily. The very first thing to consider when our candle doesn't perform to the satisfactory level is to think where we test burn our candle, because if we test burn small candle in the big room, obviously it can struggle to fill up the space with the room. And the second reason is sort of similar but different, because every room have a lot of air currents going on that we can't see, and when we burning the candle, the particles of the smell from our fragrance oil get lifted into the air, and if the air currents can't pick it up and distribute it around the room, we'll not smell it. So the easiest way is just to move our candle somewhere else and see if it still doesn't smell. If it still doesn't smell, then it's on us, we did something wrong and we need to revisit our process. Okay, so if we admit in front of ourselves that we probably messed up and that's why our candle is not as we would like it to be, then we can reflect back on what we did and find where the mistakes was made. So let's look at our wax first and think if we made any mistake there. And obviously there is so many different types of wax. There is soy wax, paraffin, bee wax, coconut wax, and all sorts of blends between them. But let's not complicate it and just look if we did as the manufacturer of the wax recommend. Have we melt our wax to the temperature that is recommended by the manufacturer, and have we pour our candles in the temperature that the manufacturer is recommending? If not, then we probably messed up in this area, because the manufacturer recommendation is there for a reason. And I don't like to complicate my life, and I'm usually going with the manufacturer recommendations. So with the wax out of the way, let's move right on to every candle maker favorite topic, wicking. And wicking of the candles is so ridiculously difficult because there are so many of them. You got wooden wicks, you have cotton wicks. For cotton wicks you have different wicks for soy wax, you have different for paraffin wax. It's just very difficult to wick your candles right. However, how the wicks affecting the scent of the candle? So the fragrance oil is very temperature sensitive, and the wick will determine the temperature that our candle is burning. So if our wick is burning too hot, it can deteriorate our fragrance oil and basically just burn it off. Or if the wick will be not burning hot enough, then the particles of the fragrance oil will not gonna get excited and will not float into the air, and also we're not gonna get full melt pool, so where we want to get our smell from. What I like to do, if we're talking about wicking, I like to get my wicks, my wax and my containers from the same supplier, and my supplier is recommending that for this diameter of the sort of wax, use this wick. And I'm usually trying 1 week up, like 1 week stronger, 1 week down, so 1 week weaker. Test burning them and see which one works best. And now it's finally time to talk about the main ingredient that makes our scented candle, and I mean the fragrance oil or the essential oil. It depends what you are using in your candles. I'm not really using essential oils in my candles because I like my candles smelling strong, and the fragrance oil is made for candles. They are designed to be used in candles, so usually the performance will be much better than in the essential oils. Essential oils are all natural and so forth, but they are not really good with high temperatures. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. How can we go wrong with our fragrance oil? Well, first of all, if we're using fragrance oil that is not meant to be used in candles. And I would say let's never do that, because if we're gonna burn it in a candle, we can actually make our candle dangerous. The fumes that are gonna come out of the candle can be hazardous. So let's never do that. But if we are using the correct fragrance oil that is made to be used in candles, there is few things to keep in mind. First one is that not all the fragrance oil smells strong. Sometimes I'm buying the fragrance oil, I'm opening it up, I'm gonna smell it, and it smells just great. It's strong, it's a very beautiful scent. And sometimes I'm opening the bottle, I'm smelling it, and I can't smell it. Then I'm obviously using it in a candle, and it still not smell. So then usually I try to find similar smell to what I was on about, but the one that will be strong out of the bottle. The second way we can go wrong with our fragrance oil is that they are quite sensitive to the temperature. So if we melting our wax and then we're gonna put our fragrance oil on too high temperature, a lot of it can evaporate. And if we gonna keep it in that situation that it will be exposed to high temperature for too long, instead of just pour it into our vessels quite fast, then we're gonna lose a lot of this fragrance load. The third way we can go wrong with fragrance oil is use too much or not enough. And what I mean is too much. It's not always the more is better. You will think that, okay, my candles doesn't smell strong enough, I'm just gonna put more fragrance oil, and no, that's wrong, because most of the waxes can take up till around 10% of the fragrance load. So when we're gonna use more than that, we're gonna start having issues with the fragrance oil sweating on top and so forth, and it can even get ignited and things like that. So no, usually for me between 7 and 8% is optimal and work like a dream. So if you need to go over 10% of your fragrance in your blend, then the problem is somewhere else, it's not the fragrance oil. So at last, let's talk about candle curing, and I don't want to talk too long about it. I've got separate video about it, so please feel free to check it out. However, as a candle makers, we really like to pour our candles, and we pretty much want to test burn them instantly. But with the candles, it's a little bit like fishing. You need a lot of patience. So once you made your candle and it doesn't smell well, just leave it for a few days. Like usually I'm burning my candles after 1 week to see are they good or not, do I like them or not. But sometimes you can have the completely opposite situation. So you're gonna burn your candle on the second day and you're gonna be very happy with the results, but after 2 weeks it's not gonna burn at all, because for example the crystals in the wax gonna solidify, and it will be just much harder wax than second day after you pour it, and the candle gonna perform completely different. So I hope you did enjoy this video, and like always, thanks for watching.